What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be installing this white vinyl wall base trim here in the garage. So I'm going to show you the process of installing this trim, and there's a few things you'll need for this. You'll need some type of adhesive. Some of these wall base trims come with an adhesive already on the backing, but this one I bought does not. And then you're going to need an adhesive, like I said. So I'm using this Wellwood Cove base adhesive, and it's like a putty, so you're going to need like a putty knife or something like that to be able to apply it to the wall. Then you're also going to need a roller to be able to roll it onto the wall and get good adhesion. And then obviously you're going to need a tape measure and a pen or a pencil to make your marks, and then something to cut this stuff with. When I did this on the other half of my garage, I used some like industrial cutting shears, and that worked well, but I since have lost those, so I decided to try these pair of scissors this morning, and they actually work fantastic. This is just a very cheap basic pair of scissors, and it seems to cut this stuff very well. So I'm going to get to installing this right now, and I'm going to show you the process I use to install it. For this project, I'll be using this white vinyl wall base. This measures 4 inches wide by 1/8 of an inch thick, and it's a 120-foot roll that I bought here for my house. This stuff comes in multiple colors and multiple lengths. I'll leave a description below for this, as well as the adhesive I am using to put this on. So I'm going to start here in this corner with a small piece first, just to try things out. Like I said, it's been a while since I installed this. So I want to just make sure that all my measurements are lining up correctly. And so I'm going to start with a small piece, so if I do cut something, I'm not wasting a bigger piece of this material. But I'll start here and do this section of the garage, and I'll probably start my way down this wall. But more importantly, I want to get this back wall finished, because this is where all my shelves and cabinets go, and I want to be able to move those back into place as soon as possible. Alright guys, I'm getting ready to cut my first piece here, and I'm using this wood sign just as a square. Do not recommend this, but unfortunately my square and stuff is at another job site right now, so I'm going to use this as a square. So my first piece measures 8 3/16, so I'm going to make a line, but since this is an inside corner and this lip rolls out, then there needs to be an angle here on this piece. Typically these lips come out on an angle. I've seen some where they almost come out at a 90-degree angle, and some places you might see it more like a 45 or maybe a 30 or a 60. So I'm going to try and determine that now in order to determine what my angle needs to be cut on this way. Alright guys, I got this corner of the garage finished up here. It's been a little while since I did this, so it took me a little bit longer to get the angles right and get everything cut in and matched up well. But I'm experiencing some issues with the trim actually adhering to the wall. I got a couple gaps along here. They're about 1/8 inch, 1/16, 1/8 of an inch in some areas. So I'm just going to try putting some tape on these in order to try and get these to adhere while the adhesive sets up. So I'm going to do that now and let that set overnight, and then check these out and see how everything looks. Alright guys, I removed the tape off the trim here. It seemed to help out a little bit. This one's looking pretty good. This one here still has some places where there's a little bit of some gaps, but it is what it is. Overall, I'm pleased with the way this is turning out. I'm going to go ahead and start finishing up the trim along the rest of this sidewall, and then I'll do the one on the back wall. Alright guys, I just got finished wrapping up the rest of the trim here on this half of the garage. Everything's looking really well. I've got one more piece of trim that I got to put over in that corner of the garage. But that whole half of the garage has been painted. The trim all the way everywhere else around has been completed. So once I get this stuff moved back into place over here, then I can start organizing and getting things set up, and I'll put on that piece of trim over there. One thing that I wanted to mention, guys, is that I am not a professional at doing this at all. My background is in engineering, and I grew up doing construction with my father, who built residential homes, and I do work on cars. But this is the first time I've ever done this type of trim before, other than what I've done on the other half of the garage. But nevertheless, it turned out pretty great overall. It's not perfect, but it's close enough for what I need in this space. So next I am going to get to setting up and organizing the garage. Like I said, over here is where I kept all of my yard tools previously. I plan to maybe put some racks on the wall. I've also got a mountain bike that I'd like to maybe try and mount up over here. So I'm going to try and get that set up and eventually get some more workbenches in this place and turn this into a proper setup for working on cars. One other thing I wanted to point out, guys, is I got lucky on this. I used all of this adhesive exactly right up to the end of this strip, so got lucky on there. So like I said, if you're looking to do a job like this, make sure you have plenty of this. There's links down in the description below. Another thing I would like to mention, when I was installing this, you may or may not have seen this in the video earlier, but when I first began installing this trim on this half of the garage, I was putting the adhesive on the wall. But what I found is that it's much easier to put the adhesive on the back of the trim before installing it on the wall. That is what I did in the first half of the garage, but I didn't remember that until I was already into this job. So I just want to give that pointer to you. It makes things a lot easier and simpler. Alright guys, you know what to do. Until next time, be sure to hit that like button, be sure to hit subscribe, and as always, stay tuned. Alright, I hope you all have a great day.